It's not gone, it's actually in my closet right now because I've got the basis of a little bit of a project. You'll probably get an idea as to what it is just by looking at that. And it's this thing. That's right. It's up here now. And it will be up here for a while. I've taken the hard drives out of it, mainly because they've got things on them that need to be taken off. And I'm going to be using this as the basis of a little bit of a project. As you can see, I have the Easy TV capture card. Watch Record TV on your PC. It was a $31 piece of equipment. Well, other than the TV card, not much in the way of expansion is going to change. Some bonehead just installed this power supply wrong. Yeah, I guess that's the way this is designed. But the case is supposed to screw in right there. Or right there. Yeah, right. This is a Radeon X 1600 Pro card, so it's not that great, but still better than the 1300 that I thought it was. This wireless card is going to come out of here. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to just use the Ethernet because I can. I've got it there, so why the hell not? And other than that, there's not really much that I'm going to put in there in the way of expansion cards. Memory and CPU are going to stay the same, but I'm going to put a second optical drive in there. I was going to put a floppy drive in there, because as we know, real computers have PS2 ports and floppy drives. That one's got PS2 ports, but doesn't have a floppy drive. But I don't want to take that Radeon card out of there. I don't have anything better in my collection anyway. I could put a PCI card in there, but I mean, really, why would I go to the bother? I might just put the PCI card in there. I'm going to put this 8X Creative CD-ROM drive in there, because why not, right? And as for hard drives, one of them is going to be this Serial ATA 80 gigabyte. I think it's an 80 gigabyte Maxter drive. It is new enough that although it's only SATA 1.5, it is actually a SATA drive. It's not just some SATA drive that's just got a parallel ATA bridge on it. Boot drive, I'm going to try this 31600. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's even going to be big enough. I'm going to try Windows Vista first, because this is the only system that I've ever had that's run Vista satisfactorily. If Vista won't install on 1.6 gigs, which I think it won't, I think it requires a little bit more than that. I've got a big box of drives over there that I can feed it with. So I'll just try another one if that happens to be the case. Well, as it turns out, Windows Vista actually requires 15 gigabytes of free space. So that 1.6 gig drive is not going to happen. Instead, I'm just going to use this 20 gigabyte Seagate Barracuda because it does meet the minimum requirements for Vista. I'm still going to use that 80 gigabyte Maxter as a data drive. So let's get cracking and open this thing up. It's got a thumb screw on the back, but it doesn't have a thumb screw on the other side. So we're going to get working here. And everything is now set up after an almost Herculean effort. I have no idea why it is so difficult to design a case that actually works the way it is intended, but apparently it is. They marketed this as a toolless case. I have to say that is the biggest heap of bull that I've ever heard. So let's see. Anyway, whatever. I'm done with this. That took way longer than it needed to. But anyway, everything is installed. I don't think I even managed to get any of these plugs reversed. So, and I'm so optimistic that this is going to work completely that I put all the screws back in. can see there's a screw there, and the thumb screw is also there. Let's power it up. I can't see any standby light indication. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. It's on. And I hear hard drive. Delete to run setup. Alright, we've got 4th IDE master. That's interesting. But we've got the first IDE device, which is, for whatever reason, being detected as a slave. So I'm going to be going in there and fixing that. Right now, in fact. So let's go ahead and deal with that. Try number 2 with it set up properly this time. Hopefully. Delete enter setup. Yep, there we go. Primary master ST32420A. Alright. Enter HDAT2. CPU is already at 37 degrees, which doesn't really encourage me that much. Okay. Smart warning. I wonder what that's all about. Data write error rate. Okay, I've never seen that before. Alright, as you can probably hear, maybe, the install is now working. That's the one thing that I miss about hard drives today, is the fact that you can hear the head stacks in them when they're accessing, and you can tell when they're not working properly. You can also tell when this camera decides that it doesn't want to focus on things, which is practically every single time I make a video. Something is seriously going bonkers here. Gotta clean off the dust on the lens, first of all. But anyway, that might take a while. The CPU seems to have peaked at about 42 degrees, which is still pretty darn good. No idea how long this is going to take, but it might take forever because, of course, it's an older drive that we've got running here. Wow, listen to that. I don't think you actually heard it, but it was going to town there for a second. Please wait while Windows checks your computer's performance. Wow. I think it's the first time this thing has been, since I started running this thing, that the CPU has been cooler than the hard drive. Listen to that thing thrash. I think they're both actually going at the same time. Alright, a couple of things have transpired. I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea. A couple of things have happened since I left you. Obviously, Vista is still installed. I've installed most of the programs, but Vista's doing something that it always likes to do, and that is, it does not want to connect to the internet. I don't know why, and I don't particularly care. I tried putting in a second network card. That did absolutely nothing. And the card that I've got is kind of a piece of junk anyway. The card doesn't even work at all. So I'm inclined to just leave it alone, and if I want to transfer files to and from it, I'll just transfer them using network resources, because I can still access, local network resources. I just can't access internet resources on here, which unfortunately means no updates unless I want to run the offline updates, but that'll take forever. It's got it's got antivirus software installed. It's also got Crystal Disk Info and Core Temp. Core Temp, as you can see, does absolutely nothing. Crystal Disk Info actually reports, and as you can see, things are getting more than just a little bit hot here. But the drives themselves are still okay. And of course, the TV tuner card works, which is all that I really care about. Well, as you can see, it's back down there and apart. I decided to go ahead and take the front bezel off. They've got these quick release latches right here, but as it turns out, you have to unscrew 4 screws in order to take the bezel off. And at that, you have to take the front panel indication stuff out, which would be to unplug this. This can be turned down. This doesn't need to be on full anymore. There was dust flying around it, and I decided to blow it all away with the fan. But anyway, so it gives the impression that it's toolless in order to get this front panel off, but in reality, that is probably the most incorrect thing that you could assume about it, because it's not. In fact, it is incorrect to assume that, because there's screws holding it in. So in theory, they could have just replaced these with larger screws, and it wouldn't have even mattered at all. Probably would have made it more sturdy, too. But anyway, so I've taken out the front, these two. I'm going to put in the second CD-ROM drive, and I'm also going to put in the floppy drive. Taken out the video card, which in and of itself was that took a lot of work. That screw isn't in there straight, but I don't care. It's cross-threaded, yes, blah, blah, blah. It's the wrong way to do it. I know, I should be showing you the right way to do things, but honestly, at this point, I don't even care. But the next thing we're going to do is upgrade the memory. So I've got the memory stuff out. I've got it right here in this pile. This is not the best thing to be doing to memory. I need to get more bags, and I need to start separating this stuff out into smaller bags. Most of it's just sitting piled in this thing. So I got DDR memory here. These, I believe, are all 512. I don't know what that one is. That one is definitely 512. These ones are also definitely 512. These ones are all the same. I should have 4 of these. But I've got no idea what this is. But let's go through all this stuff. Let's see. Most of this is just PC133, though. What is this? PC2. That's DDR2. That won't work. That's PC133. That's PC100, so that's even slower. PC133. You can tell what PC133 is by the fact that there are 3 sections of pins. So that's PC133 or PC100, doesn't really matter, it's both the same. The only difference is the speed. Now we've got another 256 meg module. What's this? PC2 4200. PC2 3200. Wow, that's really slow. That's DDR2 or PC133. That's PC133. What's this? 266, 512. Looks like that's DDR, but it's only 512 meg. There's another 512 meg value select. PC133. PC2 3200. Most of this is just PC133. In fact, I don't even see any other DDR modules. What's this? PC2 3200, again. Value RAM, 512 meg. PC133. Dell, PC2 4200. These are my 2 gig DDR2 modules. There's a 1 gigabyte piece of fully buffered memory, and that's not going to help me at all. Alright. So, I don't know why, but I've only got a single 1 gigabyte DDR400 module. Let's see what's in the other system right now. Alright, this ain't very encouraging, because both of the modules that I pulled out were DDR400, and the system was running at DDR333. So there's something going on there. I might have to take a look at memory timings and see if I can figure that one out. I'm also going to see if there's an updated BIOS for that thing, and probably update the BIOS on it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shelve that and just use these 2 modules here. They aren't the same. 1 gig times 64 times 8, and that's 1 gig times 16, or x16 or whatever. But they should both work. I don't really trust this module at all. It does not look like a very high quality one. But good luck finding any DDR memory modules now for a good price. So I'm just going to use these two for now and stick with it, and we'll see what happens. And here we go, several hours later. Got sidetracked all throughout the day through various other different projects. But anyway, one thing I don't like right away is the fact that the CD-ROM drive is that close to the power supply. Fortunately, it's not pinching any wires because there is enough clearance back there for the cable. Although it wouldn't if it wasn't a cable that had the cable that I used ended up being a one of those low-profile connections that this thing has got. And it's kind of a 90-degree angle plug, but it's actually a little bit different. Because it goes out two different sides, which is interesting. But it does, and that's the only reason why it fits back there. If it was a normal plug, it wouldn't fit. So, there you go. So that's not pinching, but hopefully it's going to work in the long run. The floppy drive was okay. I'm going to have to enable that in the BIOS. I'm also, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I'm going to be looking for a new BIOS revision for this. I'll see if it supports hardware a little bit better. But this drive looks really out of place. I mean, look at that. The other thing is that it's not exactly perfectly straight. I don't know why that is, because it is screwed in, and both ends are lined up with the screw holes perfectly, so I don't understand it either. Maybe this case isn't perfectly straight or something like that. But one thing that I noticed is that every single screw on this optical drive right here was different. And both the slot blanks at the back, or the one slot blank that I pulled out and the one that was still in the case, were also both different. So I had to take out both slot blanks because I didn't have a second one that matched the one that was already in here, and do that because obviously I took the video card out. Right there, I should have taken that network card out because I put that in there to see if Vista would appreciate it any better, and it didn't. So that was pretty much a wash, and I don't know what I'm going to use it for. But I took the video card out. This is the video card. It's just a Sapphire Radeon. What is this thing? It's an X1600 Pro or something like that. I'm amazed that this fan still works. It's not one of those crappy 40mm ones that doesn't last more than 5 seconds, but it's still a pretty crappy fan. But it works, I guess. Anyway, the other thing that I did is I put in a different hard drive, as you can see. There's nothing wrong with the 20 gigabyte Seagate that's sitting over there, but I feel that it's overkill, especially considering the system is not going to be running Vista any longer, because Vista did not behave very well with the TV tuner card at all. I'm going to try Embedded POS Ready 2009. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try XP, and if that doesn't work, well, I don't know, I guess I'm going to put Windows 2000 on it or something. But anyway, this is a Quantum. This is my Quantum Fireball CR. This is a 6.4 gig drive. And I wanted my IBM drive, but this was the first one that I found in the box. So I thought, well, what the hell. Actually, it's not. The first one I found in the box of the between 6 and 7 gig variety was the Maxter drive that came out of that iMac that's sitting up there, but I'm not putting that drive in here. I'm going to save that drive for some other purpose that involves maybe a Macintosh or something, because that's what it's meant for. Anyway, let's put this back up and let's go ahead and test it out and see what happens. Alright, let's see if I hooked up everything properly. Before I do that, I'm going to turn the power on in the back. Whoa. I think I already had the power on in the back. Here's the drive. Delete current setup. DDR 400 megahertz, dual channel tiled mode. Good. So that's working. We've got one. Oh, that's good. Okay. Alright. Quantum Fireball C. It's supposed to be CL, but whatever. No IDE slave. It's good. It's fine. 6.4 gig. LBA supported. Everything should be functional in that regard. The HLDT DVD RAM drive and this Matsushita. What is that? That's the 8-speed creative drive. That's this one. Oh wow, there's a disc in there. I don't know if that's a music disc or what that is. Right, I'll have to give that a look at. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, well, first of all, I'm going to enable this floppy drive. 144 megabyte floppy disk drive. System information, that should all be fine. Could use a newer BIOS if it actually even has that. Boot settings, quick boot, blah blah blah. Doesn't look like it supports the floppy disk seek on boot up. First drive. As for CD-ROMs, that should support it just fine. Boot device priority, again, that should be just fine. So before I finish that off, I'm going to go ahead and put the discs in, and then we'll finish up with that. Alright, I think I spotted the first problem. That floppy drive light is on, so I think I hooked the cable up wrong. But anyway, let's see what it does. I'm going to put my POS Ready 2009 disc in the first drive. Come on. And then the second drive, I'm going to put the Ultimate Boot CD, because I'm going to be running memtest on this overnight, or something similar to that. The drive sounds very reassuring. Right, so let's exit, save changes, and we'll see what the system does. It's probably going to complain because I think that floppy drive is hooked up backwards. Alright, let's see if this drive actually works. As you can see, we're now booted into the operating system, which is pretty cool. It's also pretty necessary. Welcome to the new internet connection wizard. Shut up. Alright, okay, so it looks like it does work. We'll install the chipset driver first off. Then we'll have to install the VGA driver and all the other stuff that needs to be installed. I'm going to test the floppy drive next. Go ahead and log in. We should get sound now. I've installed the sound driver. Didn't hear any sound. Here we go. It's a little low, but that's okay. It's because it's turned all the way down. I don't know what's supposed to be right there, but there's supposed to be something right there. Anyway, I'm now going to actually install the stuff for the, what's that thing? The TV card, and then we'll install updates and do all of that. Alright, I've got all the capture card stuff now set up. Backward should go. It's still sitting on something, so I don't know what the deal is. But whatever the reason, it's going to have to be dealt with, because it shouldn't be sitting on something. But anyway, as you can see, you're getting a live picture of what the camera actually sees right now. And there you go. I could play something back. I don't know if you can hear it. I doubt it. I think I've got it plugged into the wrong slot on the motherboard. So we'll fix that. Can't see. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Yep, you can now hear what's coming through the speakers. Fast forward and you can see it there too. Well, it looks a lot weirder than it does on the screen. You can see all of the little artifacts. So we'll go ahead and stop that and rewind the tape. And that'll pretty much be the end of that. I don't really need to do anything else with it. You can close that. And we can now install all of the updates as well as a decent browser. Decent browser and antivirus software. So you really don't need to see the rest of that. I think this installation is done anyway. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then.